What performance improvements can we expect after we upgrade our CPU in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024? So that is the question we are going to answer today. So currently, I am in the process of upgrading my CPU. I'm going to upgrade to a 9800X3D from AMD, of course. And currently, this is what I am running, Ryzen 7 5800X3D. Of course, that's on the AM4 platform. So to upgrade this, I'm also going to have to upgrade my motherboard as well as the RAM, because currently this uses DDR4 RAM. And of course, the new AM5 motherboard will use DDR5 RAM. So again, this is my current specs, 5800X3D. My RAM, I have 64 gigs of DDR4, and I will be upgrading to 64 gigs of DDR5 as well. And of course, here is my GPU. It's a 5070 Ti from Nvidia. And this is our current performance in game right now. So I am currently at JFK, Indybuilds JFK. This is Terminal 4, Delta's terminal. This is one of the heavy gates where the A380s actually park up in real life. Behind us over there, we have Terminal 5. And here's the performance, as you can see up here, averaging about 70 frames. So not terrible, but I'm sure, maybe we could see some improvements with that. And here is what it looks like when we're in the cockpit. Again, it goes down, but then it averages back around 70 frames. And that's what the current performance looks like in the A380 here at JFK, Indybuilds JFK. So that's with the old setup. Let me just go ahead and show you guys my settings so you can see what my graphic settings are currently set as, so you could get, a feel for what I have running right now. So here are my current graphic settings. I have anti-aliasing, I'm using TAA. Nvidia DLSS for frame gen. And if we come down here to the global, most things are set to ultra. My TLOD is set to 210. My object level of detail is set to 170. And like I said, most things are set to ultra. A few things here are set to medium, and a few things off, like traffic and parked vehicles and so forth. But that's what my current settings are. And as I showed you, this is my performance here in, once you get back in and you see that little exceeds, graphics performance alert you get, but then it starts averaging back up and it kind of levels out. So that's what it looks like right now with my old setup. So we're gonna see how much it improves with the new CPU. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, maybe I'm GPU bound right now, who knows, but we will see what improvements I get with the new CPU, new motherboard, and of course new RAM. And the price of RAM right now is absolutely ridiculous. DDR5 prices are through the roof right now. It is absolutely insane. All right, next thing I want to show you guys before we go into the new setup with the new CPU is just to see the performance of a smaller aircraft. So of course we're in the A380 here from Fly-by-Wire. Of course it's a free aircraft, amazing. I just want to show you guys what the performance also looks like with a smaller aircraft at the same gate. And here's the performance with a slightly smaller aircraft, same gate here at Terminal 4 at the Indybuilds JFK. This is the A320 that comes with the SimNow V2 from Indybuilds. So again, these are the frames we're getting, about 90 frames, slightly higher than with the A380. Still limited by main thread and so on and so forth, but this is the performance we're seeing here. You could also see less VRAM usage here in the GPU memory. And then inside the cockpit, once it settles, we're back to about 85 frames per second. So that's the performance right now with our old setup. So I will see you guys after the upgrade. Alright, so here we are back with the upgraded CPU in my system. I went ahead and swapped it out with my motherboard as well as new RAM, of course. So right now we're running a 9800X3D. That's an upgrade from the 5800X3D that I just took out of the system. And of course the RAM is still 64 gigs, but prior to this it was DDR4. Now of course it's DDR5. So that's the RAM situation there. You can see the speed. And of course, still running my 5070 Ti GPU. And if we go back into flight sim, here we are in the cockpit of the A380, and you can see the frames averaging about 110 frames per second. So that's pretty decent, I would say. CPU, VRAM still being used up a bunch, but frames are definitely higher. Again, settings are the same, graphic settings are the same. All I did was upgrade the system. Of course, we still get this pop-up. Resource, usage exceeds. But that is the frames we have now inside the cockpit. And of course now it tanked, and eventually it will stabilize and go back up to where it was. There we go. So it's interesting. All right, and if we pop out, here are the frames we get on the outside of the aircraft. So it is a slight bump, about 10-15 frames higher than what we got before. Again, all that was changed, the RAM, of course the motherboard, and of course the CPU is now the 9800X3D. So I would say you do get slight performance gains with the new CPU, of course, and that's to be expected. And here we are back in the cockpit of the A320, same gate at Indybills JFK, and as you can see, we're averaging about 116, 117 frames per second here in the cockpit, and pretty stable, pretty sweet, no issues. Of course it fluctuates when you turn around as usual, but looking pretty good. If we go to the external view, here we are. So we're definitely averaging about 10 to 15 frames more with the newer CPU than with the older CPU. So it's definitely some improvements there. Now, is it a lot of difference? Is it a huge improvement? Probably not. I mean, I went from a 5800X3D to this 9800X3D, but if you're coming from a non-X3D CPU, or just an older CPU in general, it's definitely probably going to be a huge bump and improvement for you for sure. So that is the frames we're getting here externally at Indybills JFK with the V2 A320 that comes default with the sim. So this is what the performance looks like. A little bit better, marginal at best, but definitely a slight improvement. Of course, if you're coming from a worse or older GPU, it will definitely be a huger increase. And of course, no test would be complete if we didn't actually do a test flight. So let's go flying. We're here at Indybills JFK again, and you can see what our frame rates are looking like. We're here in the Cessna 172 Skyhawk, simply because that's what my controls are currently easiest and most, set up to fly. I don't want to go ahead tweaking stuff right now, but here we are in the sky. Put on head tracking so we can see. Of course, we're using TAA as our anti-aliasing, and it's looking pretty good. I am happy with the performance right now. Again, this is Indybills JFK. We're here in the Cessna Skyhawk, and it looks decent. No frame drops or anything. Performance is stable for sure. Let's bring that up. Let's turn head tracking off. Let's get a little zoom out going as we fly over JFK. Looks great. So again, I upgraded from the 5800X3D to the 9800X3D. I will say it makes a difference. Definitely a slight increase of performance and stability here. Of course, if you're coming from a even lower tier CPU, it'll definitely make a much bigger difference and jump. But if you're coming from something very close to the 9800X3D, it might not make that much of a difference to you. So keep that in mind. But overall, I'm happy with the upgrade. So yeah, that concludes this video. Of course, slight improvements. I will see you guys in the next one. If you found this video interesting, please remember to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel for more, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.
This concludes our flight. We hope you enjoyed the ride. Before you deplane, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and check out our other content.